podcast with you before you got in the UFC,
Yeah.
but I fucking didn't know how to do it. Are we on? We're on for the first time. I didn't have to actually do it myself. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
This is like the biggest moment in my podcast.
Is it right?
Yeah. I've
Fuck
always
yeah.
wanted a UFC fighter on.
Wow. Look, in the flesh. I wish I could have... That beer looks so refreshing. I wish it was a Friday and not a Thursday. I'd have
We'll
a
do
couple
another
workout.
one tomorrow. I'll be around.
Yeah. Just swing past. I'm actually going away tomorrow.
Where is Absolute?
It's in Collingwood. So it took me
thought so.
about... It only took me like 16 minutes to get here.
Fuck, I don't know how you live in Melbourne, eh? We've run around like rats today and I'm exhausted.
But I will tell you, you're in the worst part of Melbourne. Like Docklands is like so like it's a big story about Docklands that they wanted to expand the city a little bit and they pumped a heap of money into this area. They built like the Costco, the DFO. They put in all this infrastructure. They built all these hotels and apartment complexes and stuff, and it just died. Like anyone who put money in here lost all their money.
Why why though? It's not. I don't know. I'm from Adelaide, bro. This looks like this looks like Shanghai to me.
Yeah, look, exactly. It just doesn't fit. So you have to cross over. Traditionally, the city ends at Spencer Street Station.
Yeah.
And then you've got Marvel Stadium there. And then they've gone over that into Docklands and said, oh, let's just extend. And it'll just become like the other side of the hub. And they did it, and it just never took. Like, no, you would have seen, like, if you're out here at night, there's just no one around.
Yeah.
It's just dead.
My missus used to live here, and she said, like, it's really quiet here at night compared to, like, that end of
Well, you
Melbourne.
just go across one street, go past Spencer Street Station. It's packed.
Where's Swanson? That's the main shit, isn't it? Swanson's like the main.
There's heaps on
where all the
Swanston.
shit's happening.
Swanston, around Swanston.
You're
Burke.
from where, Bashers Marsh?
Bacchus Marsh,
Bacchus Marsh.
which is about 40 minutes out.
Yeah, I'm doing two podcasts tomorrow with two blokes from Bacchus Marsh.
Who?
Gaz Wright. I think Gaz Wright, he's from Bacchus Marsh.
Gaz Wright.
He's a career criminal, ex-pill dealer, and he went to
No, he's
jail for a
from
while.
Melton.
Is he?
TikTok Gary.
Yeah, TikTok Gary. Is he from Melton?
Yeah, he's from Melton.
Oh, this other dude I'm doing a podcast with said he lived like next to him, so I thought he lived there too. This dude Shammy, he lives in Bacchus Marsh on like a little acreage.
Right.
So is that where you got into horses and shit?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, my brother had a horse, and we spent some time around horses as we were kids, and my cousins had a farm and that sort of stuff. But I'm not from like a big horse family or anything.
You
It was
fucking love a punt though, eh?
mate, I'm a sicko. Not just for the punt, but like horses in general.
I've seen a lot of interviews where you're talking about them, and you almost talk about them like more deeply than you would fighting.
Yeah, like I would say, like if I had to pick, if you told me right now, all right, you can never work with horses, you can never do any of that stuff again, or you can never fight again, I'd say I don't want to fight anymore.
Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, because I don't because I understand my fighting has an expiry. Like, I'm talking, in a perfect world, if I could fight forever or do horses forever,
You don't
I would
ride,
fight
you
forever.
like maintain them and shit.
No, I don't do anything with them right now. That's what I will do. So ideally I'm gonna fight for another 6-7 years in a perfect world, have 3 fights a year, work my way up into that sort of top 5 echelon, start making some money, buy some land, buy some mares, start breeding my own horses, breeding, selling, training, that sort of thing. That's what I want to do.
And so I was actually going to get one of your mates on, but I never ended up making it happen. He's a DJ and he's a jockey. He's a weapon.
Oh, Benny Allen.
Benny, yeah.
The notorious young calf.
Yeah, he's a weapon.
He's a great jockey, and he's a really good DJ too.
My dad used to own horses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the day, he used to own stakes in a couple racehorses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything good?
Nah, no, nothing great, but it's definitely rubbed a fucking gambling trait off onto me. I can't bet on horses. I will bet on a horse every now and then.
Yeah.
But if you got a tip, I'll slap 100 on right now.
Well, see, nah, I don't have. I don't have anything. I was looking today trying to find something this
A
weekend.
tip's still a thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love a tip.
I haven't got a tip
I love
in
a tip.
while.
Mate, you could just be a fucking nobody who knows nothing about horses, and I study it like anything, and you could be like, mate, I think this thing wins on Saturday, and I'd be like, all right, I better get on.
What's the hottest tip you've ever had?
Well, I won't name names, but I was
just do the odds.
I was at a dinner with some of my friends, and I'd heard that there's a horse called Duncal running in the South Australian Derby in Adelaide, and it's a horse from Plumpton, which is out our way, and trained by Patrick Payne. And apparently Paddy Payne had told someone, look, I've never in my whole career seen a horse improve from one race to the next as much as this horse has improved. And it was already a really good horse, but it was paying 17 to 1. And then I was out for dinner that night with some people, and somebody said, oh, Jack loves horse racing. And he said, you got anything for me this Saturday? And I said, oh, you know what? I actually do. There's this horse called Dunkell. It's running in the South Australian Derby. I'm going to have a bid on. You should have a bid on. And I'd told my parents and stuff. And it was 17 to 1. And then obviously I watched it run, and it got up the inside, took off, and won by about half a length. It was a really good ride. And my phone started ringing, and like one person's rung, and then someone else has rung, and then I got a call from this guy who was at the dinner, and he didn't say a word when I was telling this story. He just sat on the other side of the table, and he'd put 10 grand down on it.
You're fucking joking.
Yeah, so he didn't get the full odds. He didn't end up getting the full odds at 17 to 1, but he got a price, and he ended up making about 80 grand off the bet.
That's fucking
And
wild.
but the thing I respected was that he didn't tell me and be like, oh, this is your tip. Like it better go good. Like I bet he wouldn't have even told me probably if he'd lost the money, because he was like, oh, well, I'll have a crack at it. And it was a bonus bet that he'd had a bonus bet sitting there for something. But that was probably my biggest one. But my mum and dad won a heap of money on that as well, and I took a good chunk home. But I've got a heap of good ones, but just like everyone, most of my punting stories are the hard luck ones. Like it's the what could have been.
Do you bet on? Are you allowed to bet on the fights?
I'm not allowed to bet on fights. No.
How the hell would would they check your statements, or it's just not worth it?
I think like how I would see it going is that Ladbrokes, Entain, or whoever the bookie is, if I was betting, they'd be like, oh, we don't want to pay out because you are in the UFC, and then they'd report it, and then I'd be fucked.
You owe me $100.
What for?
I'll put you for the win last fight.
You and everyone else. You and everyone else owe money
That
too.
was fucking wild. That was heartbreaking.
How you going, guys? This is Sav from the Sesh with Sav podcast, and I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Manscaped.
It's not Manscaped. The sponsor is Southern Strength and Conditioning.
Does this look like a fitness channel? What the is Southern Strength and Conditioning? All right, run it back. How you going, guys? This is Sav from the Sesh with Sav, and today's sponsor is actually Southern Strength and Conditioning. Let's get it. Located at 4/27 Farrow Court in Seaford. It's available for all levels, from professionals to intermediate to rookies. Weightlifting, strength and conditioning, massive facilities, heaps of equipment, and I'm going to show you how to use it all. For $14 a week, you can unlock your inner potential and be a savage just like me. Like and subscribe.
So was that when you pulled your shoulder out? I can't remember. Was that the second round?
That was my elbow. Yeah,
Was it your elbow?
Yeah, my elbow fell out of its socket. And it was the second round. Yep, about 2.5 minutes into the second round.
That's fucking so unlucky. Were you posting up?
Nah, he did a judo throw called a haragoshi, and I was on a body lock, and I let go of the body lock, but usually I would be able to get my arm out straight enough in time, but he, just a really good judoka, he held onto my arm right up until the last second, and then he let it go, so it kind of flung out a bit late, and then my arm was bent. A lot of people think that it was straight, and it kind of came out, this way, but it didn't. My arm was nice and bent, and it just fell out the bottom of its socket. It's just like a freak, kind of the way my shoulder was pushing down on it. It just fell out.
So it's all G now, though.
Yeah, it's good now. Like you still have to, like I have to be careful with it in terms of load. Like sometimes I need to pull back a little bit. That's a lie actually. 3-4 weeks ago, I was having to manage my load. I'm at pretty much full load now, and it's not giving me any trouble.
Do you get being was that your first serious injury?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you get that PTS fucking D whenever you go to do a certain movement or thing now? Or is that just something you've kind of gotten over in your head?
Nah, so like the one thing with my physio and my strength coach that we've worked a lot on was just building confidence back into my arm. So we do lots of stuff like reaction stuff where they'll push me and I need to like fall on it.
Yeah.
Lots of handstand walking and stuff like that. So that I just get confidence with my arm taking my weight again. Which has been really good. So I'm fully confident that when I get back, it's not going to worry me.
Yeah.
In a fight anyway, it's like people are coming to take your lights out. Like you're not worried about your arm going or something like that.
Have you ever thought about actually changing your fight name to One Trick Pony?
Nah, not really.
Were you irked when you said that?
Nah, like I don't really care because it's like in saying that, like if Dana had just said One Trick Pony and then I just let it go, it would have like no one would remember it. But I have kind of taken it and made it like
a thing.
This is a thing. So people actually like, no, that's the guy Dana said One Trick Pony about. And if there's anything that can get someone like jog their memory about you as a fighter or your style or whatever it might be, then you should hold on to that. So I just run with it, and the more I get to show as a fighter and the further into my career we go, the more that's going to be like such a bad call.
Oh, dude,
that I'm going to be able to like.
If Dana's seen
it.
like your Hex or your Eternal fights, he would have been like, "What?" I watched it yesterday to fucking freshen up. That fight with Costa.
Yeah.
Was it Rod
Costa? Yeah.
You could not fucking miss.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I don't know how that dude is the toughest motherfucker I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's super tough. Super tough.
You were beating the shit out of him, like to the body, I don't know how he didn't fall.
Yeah.
Like you were eating him alive and he just refused to go. Were you just livid that he wouldn't go out?
Nah, it was the opposite. Like I was having... There's two things that people ask me about that fight. They say like, were you just like playing with your food? It looked like you didn't want to finish him. And then the second thing is, were you upset that he didn't go down? And it's neither of those things. What Rod's really good at is Rod covers up. He's got a nice tight guard. He lures people into this false sense of superiority where people start going like, "Oh, I'm the man here." Bop, 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 tap, tap, tap. And then he gets hold of you, and he's very, very good. And he's a very high level grappler. He gets on top, and the way his jiu-jitsu transitions to MMA, I think, is very good. So he's done it time and time again where he sort of punches on with people, they get overconfident, he gets on top, he wins. So I went out there and I'm just going to hold, I know I can hold this high pace for 5 rounds. Like
you were backing him up against the fence and just holding him there.
I'm fit, I can hold this pace for 5 rounds, I can take his front leg away from him so he can't really shoot really well. And then once I'm on the front foot and I have my range and my rhythm, I'm just going to enjoy letting punches and kicks go. And you see it was like leg, body, head,
that
head,
body
head,
shot was
body, leg.
Money.
Yeah, it was just like I was just on that night. And, I did enough damage early in the rounds that, he really didn't have much chance of coming back. He shot a takedown at the end and ended up on top, but by that time it was too little too late. And, it was probably still to this day my best performance. And
the second fight with Medina was fucking really good too.
That was good too, yeah. That was another one like where I was happy. Like once you're in the cage and you've like 5 rounds for me, I way prefer 5 rounds. Like I wish every fight could be 5 rounds because I know if I have time, like if there's no time pressure on me, I'm laughing. Whereas 3 rounds for me feels like it's like you've got too much to do too soon.
With 3 rounds, you need to win that first round.
Yeah.
It's so important.
For sure. Like I wish we did 5 rounds every fight and championship rounds were 7. Like I would be so down for that.
For anyone who doesn't know, his fight name's Farjack because they from Farlap, like just fucking tank for days.
Yeah, big heart, just go. But the Rod Costa fight was good. I still probably haven't hit that level in the UFC yet because of like various like different fights. Like Jamal Emmers was really tricky and he went backwards a lot and the distance didn't. It was like his was the hardest style matchup for me in the division. I think like the way
that was
he
a
moves.
Split?
Yeah, split win. And then obviously the Chepe fight was going really well until it wasn't, right? So I was just starting to get my distance. And I remember we got in the clinch and then we got out of the clinch and I remember thinking like, oh, I'm about to turn it on here. Like I was feeling really good, and then I just made that mistake with the arm and lost that fight. But I think when I come back, you get me like a couple of good style matchups, and I'll really be able to let loose. And even just people who want to strike, like
That's the thing. Just give him a fucking and a good one. Give him a top 30 striker, and you
like
fucking clean him.
I've always been one of those guys, like the higher level guy I fight seems to be the better that I perform. Like if I'm up against somebody with a really high IQ who moves well and he's intelligent and he slips punches and we go like deep into the game of reading each other, that seems to be where I do my best work.
Was it hard to get used to the fact that you were in the UFC? Did you used to froth the UFC? Like, were you a massive MMA fan?
I used to sneak into the pub in Melbourne. We had this pub called the Max, and I used to sneak in there to watch the fights. Like, I'd just put my head down and a hat on and walk in and watch UFC pay-per-views.
So was it hard to get over the fact that, like, the first two couple fights, do you think that kind of not fucked your performances, but it, like, you had more pressure on you, obviously, than you normally would have?
No, I think they were just like, it's just they were hard fight style. Like the first fight, the one in Perth, like I won 30-27.
I was there.
Like, yeah, and it was a really good performance, but it just wasn't at that Rod level performance, like where I was just on. But you can't be
on every fucking night.
Fight. Like you try and minimize that gap. So like, what's my worst? What's my best? And you're trying to minimize that gap so that you show up closer to your best every time.
Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah.
Your fight in Perth was actually the last fight I remember of the whole day.
It got too blind.
I got fucking destroyed.
I remember like, the UFC tells you like, you got to leave. Like you can't come back in, and they give you.
What do you mean?
So they tell you they have like a duty of care to you as a fighter, and their duty of care ends when they get you back to the hotel. So they don't, like, after you finish your fight, they do your medical checks, you do your press conference, and then they take you straight to a limo, like, or taxi.
You're not allowed to stay and get fucked up.
No. So, but this is, and every fighter has like a handler, and each handler might have like 4 fighters, right? And my handler is this lady, and she's really nice. And as in between all my stations, so like media, medical, press conference, Fox Sports, whatever it was, she was walking me around, and I kept saying to her, I'm like, I'm going to come back. I'm like...
I was in fucking Perth, you have to.
I'm like, man, I'm going to come back for this. And she's like, Jack, you can't come back. Because she said, do you have tickets? And I'm like, no, I gave them away. And she's like, well, you can't come back. Because they give us 4 tickets, but I'm not going to keep 4 tickets from my family or someone just so that I can come back in with those tickets later and then sit up in the bleachers. But I had homies who had like corporate tickets, and I knew they would get me in. And every time we went to a different station, I was like, no, I'm coming back. Like, trust me, I'm going to be back in here. And she's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I'm going back to the hotel. I'm going to be back. And she's like laughing at me.
Good mates with the Street X boys.
Yeah. And she's like laughing at me. And she's like, you can't come back in here. You don't have tickets. And I'm like, we'll see. So they drop us off at the hotel. I've got my shorts on, no shirt. I still have my wraps on. Go to the breakfast buffet because it was so fucking early. Like, you walk out of the stadium. I got back to my hotel at like 8:30 in the morning. Yes. So I walk back into a breakfast buffet on a Sunday morning, and I walk in, got like blood marks over me from the fight. I walk into the buffet, and the lady comes up to me, and you're just a bit of a fucking idiot. Like, you see people carry on after fights, and you think, that guy's a fucking idiot. Like, you know, some people get on the mic and say dumb shit. You're so hyped up, you're almost like drunk. Like after you win fights.
I'd never understand the feeling. It'd be such an adrenaline rush.
And I walked into the buffet, no shirt on, just my fight shorts. And this lady's like, can you please put a shirt on? And I'm like, this is a really nice hotel. What the fuck am I doing? I like put a shirt on, had my buffet. And then I went upstairs, got changed, went straight back to the venue. And I probably got back to the venue at like 9:30. And it was like being out in Melbourne at like 2:30 in the morning. Like, the people were fucked.
When I was blackout drunk by 7 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking fucking blackout.
All my mates from Bacchus flew over, and they were like, I was watching the Snapchats when I was on my way back to the venue. I'm like, these boys are on.
Dude,
like, they are
me,
on.
Jonesy, and all the boys from the gym in Adelaide, we all flew up, and we all were on the biggest fucking bender. I lost a tooth the first 2 hours of being in fucking Perth. Then as soon as you won, it really kicked off because it's like, all right, Jack's won. That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
So then it all kicked off, and then it just went downhill. And then when Volk walked out, I thought the stadium was actually going to
Man.
fucking collapse.
It was nuts. And then when I got back into the venue, we were on the floor, like right behind Hunter Campbell and all those guys. And there's like the security, I got in, but I kept my fighter's pass. So then when I went to security, every time I needed to have a piss, because I got straight back on the piss, every time I needed to piss, I didn't go up into like the public stands. I just went out the back to the fighter's stands because I kept my fighter's pass. And I remember like I walked past and I was waiting for the toilet where like all the media people were. And my handler sees me and I've got like a cap on. I'm in casual clothes. I've got like 2 beers in my hands. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I told you I was going to get back in." And she just sort of shook her head and walked off and pretended like she hadn't seen me. And I just remember that event, like you said, when Volk walked out, I just
Best
thought
fucking
like
thing I've ever seen, dude.
it was. You know what else was crazy that I thought, like, just to give a bit of like the Australian dynamic. Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett was one of the highest level fights you're ever going to see. It was phenomenal, and it was like the collective crowd just put like a pause on their attention. It was like Jack Dalla fought, the crowd went nuts, and then everyone went, right, what's next? Oh, an interim title fight at featherweight. No one gives a fuck. Let's go get beers. Everyone got out of their seats. No one was watching. People were making like the big... Do you remember the cup snake?
Oh, dude.
People made that like fucking 30-meter long cup steak in the stand, and one of the best featherweight fights you could get is on, but just no one cared.
I wouldn't even have been able to tell you who won that fight by the end of the night.
Oh, it was like I was looking around thinking, no one gives a fuck about this fight, and these two are some of the highest level martial artists on the planet. And then they finished. As soon as the promo came on for Volk versus Islam, everyone locks back in, and I was like, such a good stadium though. You're right on top of it.
Bro, I had 6 seats. I was basically looking at the Paul, which was it, Logan or Jake that was there? Logan.
He was right in front of me.
Yeah, so I was on the tier above you guys looking down, so I could see right in the cage. And the only moment of that night that was wilder when Volk walked out was the last round when Volk was beating the shit out of him in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, right at the end. That was nuts.
Everyone
because
was
everyone
going,
thought
he won.
Everyone's like, he won.
Do you still reckon he won?
I couldn't, and honestly I can't split it. It's one of those ones where it's like, who won? Like who did win? Because
Volk won the crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
He won the. Like, I remember, so we're in the car going out. We were going to go out after, and I was fucked. And Jones is like, "Dude, Craig's going to let us into the after party." And I was like, "No fucking way, bro." Like, I've never been around UFC fighter. That's like going to a fucking red carpet for me. I'll get too starstruck.
Yeah.
And I've walked in, and I'm like, just got to be cool. And the first dude I fucking see is Eugene Behrman, and I just fucking finger gunned him. And I was like, "What's up, coach?"
You fucking idiot. Eugene's like a quiet guy too. He would have been like, "Hey, bro."
He was hell nice. Craig fucking, and he spiked me on my head. But Dan, like, Hooker and all that, they're all such nice dudes. They're just fucking...
They're just lads.
They're just lads.
Yeah. I remember being out...
Malarkey actually is probably the coolest motherfucker I've ever met in my life.
Malarkey's a G. I remember we went out after Volk beat Yair in Vegas. I was over there with Craig, and we all went out afterwards and hanging out with all those CKB boys. It was a lot like just hanging out with my mates. Like, they're just like good lads. Like Hooker, Izzy, Carlos.
Have you done much training with like Izzy and shit?
No, we've never done any training together.
Really?
Yeah, no, but just by chance.
It's
but
weird because
you
think like Australian and Kiwis, you'd think you just would cross train heaps because you all kind of each other's got down here.
Yeah, there's some people I have. Like I train with Volk. I've trained with Volk a fair bit.
When you were younger, you trained.
Yeah,
with him
sparred
as well.
with him when I was younger, and then recently, and then I was supposed to go up to before this Ilya fight. I was supposed to go spar with him, but I tweaked my elbow like just before I was supposed to go up. I was fucking devastated. But even like Izzy the other day, Izzy's playing Helldivers and I'm playing Helldivers, and I'm
Is
like,
it good?
oh, it's sick.
I've heard it's
so
fucking
fun.
really good.
I reckon you can only play like with a crew. It's one of those games like you can't grind hours by yourself. It's just fucking repetitive. But when you have a crew and you have a bit of a purpose,
I've heard it's really
game.
good.
Yeah, it's fun as. So I like all of those guys. They're all really genuine. What you see is what you get, which, you know, isn't necessarily the case with some of the other guys.
Just the same down this neck of the woods, though. I imagine, I'm not like shit. Obviously, most of my favorite fighters are from America and shit, but I imagine it's a lot different over there. Like,
just we're very different culturally.
everyone wants each other to succeed down here because there's so few.
Yeah. No, I think us and Kiwis are very close, and then even beyond that, with like the UK, get along with people from the UK real well. Americans are just a little bit different to us culturally.
I'm going there for the first time when I go to Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, they're still great people. I love Canadians too. I love Americans as well. It's just that if it's easier for me, it's more natural for me to hang out with like Kiwis and Aussies and that sort of stuff.
Was watching Volk, what happened to Volk a week and a bit ago, the worst loss you've had to watch?
I didn't watch it live.
Really?
No, I don't really like watching fights in the same way that like you might like watching fights or someone else. So, for example, like if I'm watching a card and there's a featherweight fight on it, immediately my brain goes to like, all right, what if I fought him? Like, let's say it's Arnold Allen.
You're more
right?
analysing it.
I look at Arnold Allen and I go, all right, how would I beat Arnold Allen? And then you start visualising and putting yourself in there. And then all of a sudden, I'm 2 minutes into the fight and like my palms are sweating. I'm like, my heart rate's up a little bit. And then I start thinking like, what am I doing today that is getting me closer to beating these guys or whatever? And it just takes me completely out of like enjoying.
So I was actually just going to ask, do you think getting to the level of fighter that you are now has ruined your ability to enjoy watching fights?
I don't think so. I think like any outside of my weight class,
It's
like
just your weight class.
I can watch John Jones or even Izzy and Drickus and those guys. I could watch that fight and have no issue. Like one time, what fight was it on? There was a big card at Izzy's. It was during COVID when you weren't allowed to have parties, so we had a party, and
Was Izzy Pereira won? No, that was
no,
past COVID.
it was one Izzy won, and I remember like the main card. There was pretty much no featherweight fights on it, and I had a big day with all my mates, and we went hard. We had a great
Was that
day.
Cannoneer?
Might have been Cannoneer. I can't remember,
Yeah.
to be honest. But it was a good card, and there was no featherweight fights on it, and it was all right. But when there's featherweight fights on the card, and most cards have a featherweight fight, I just struggle to enjoy it. And especially Volk, like I like him, I know him, I'm cheering for him. If I go to a pub and watch it, like I'm just not going to enjoy it. I'm on a personal level, but I'm not going to enjoy being around people either. So I just don't watch much.
Yeah, right. You were saying before about handlers, like, so every UFC fighter has a handler.
Yeah, like so
Or do they just give it to the fucking the sketchy cunts?
Nah. It's like when you get to the venue, they give you like, all right, this is Monica or this is Jim or whoever's in charge of like you.
Who the fuck is John Jones?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's
draws
it's
the
just this
short
person's
straw?
going to make sure you get to all your interviews, going to make sure you get to your equipment fittings, or if you need anything, they're the person you talk to. Yeah, so everyone has one, but like I said, one handler might be dealing with like 4, 6, 8 fighters. I don't know how many.
Is
they
the
each
back
have.
of, like, when you're going into the back of the UFC, say it's fight day and you're fighting that day, what's it like being at the back? Is it crazy out the back of the, like, behind the curtains?
Mate, it is the exact same shit as being behind at Hex.
Really?
Or Eternal. This is what
Really?
I try and tell the other guys, right? Like you go through this. Every fighter, like if you honestly see yourself getting to the UFC and you're willing to like sacrifice and put in the work to get there, you follow the exact same trajectory as everyone else. So you sit out the back at Hex and you're at the very bottom of the card. It's like your debut or your first or your second fight, and you're looking at these guys that are at the top of the card and you start thinking like, I can't wait to be at the top of the card. Like I can't wait to either fight for a Hex title or an Eternal title, whatever it might be, when I've put in the work. And then you slowly move up and you higher up the card and you higher up the card. And then maybe one guy who you fought with, you see him get signed and you're like, fuck, so he's gone now. That's cool. I want to get to where he was at the top of the card, win a title, and then I'm going to go to the UFC. And then you just work your way up, and then all of a sudden you get in a position where you're like, shit, I'm at the back of the card. Like I'm the main event. And the room empties out and it's just you and your coaches left, and then you walk out and, for me, I was lucky enough. I never lost a title fight. I was in Australia. So every time
You're the Eternal champ, yeah?
Yep, and Rogue. And every time I went out for a title fight, I came back with the belt, and it was like just getting closer and closer. And then you see these next young guys come in who are fighting, and they're just going to go through the same pattern. And then I'm on to the UFC now, And again, I'm on.
You didn't have a sorry for cutting. You didn't have a fucking rookie career, did you?
No, I didn't.
You just
fight
went
amateur.
straight to
Yeah,
pro
straight
because
pro.
you were doing Muay Thai from 13,
Yeah,
and then you did MMA at like 16.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that same pattern happens now in the UFC. So now, like, I'm in the warm-up room and I'm at the start of the card, and I look at guys like Pedro, maybe Malarkey, some of these guys who are in the middle of the card, and then the guys at the top of the card, Volk, Stylebender, Jack Dalla, and I go, right, I'm here now, and I want to start working my way up closer to them. And then I know that there's guys underneath me who are have championships now, like Abdallah and guys like that who are fighting this weekend, who they're trying to get into that spot that I'm in. So it's like it's a natural progression, and it's exactly the same at UFC as it is at Hex or Eternal.
There's a few prospects on Saturday's card.
Yeah, well, Harry Webb might be
A lot of
best.
people are saying Webb is a fucking animal.
Yeah, so he's from close to, like, we're from the same shire out in the west. So
Yeah.
he's from Belen, I'm from Bacchus Marsh. It's one shire. He's a exceptionally talented, like, really, really hard worker as well, but he's exceptionally talented, has good distance control.
Finishing machine too, isn't he?
Yeah, finishes fights. The big question, and like, this is just an analytical thing, it's not a personal thing. The big question is, like, I think he, like, if you look, the most experience he's fought is a guy who was 3-3 as a pro, and now you're coming up against Abdallah, who's 8-1 as a pro and has really good wins. So if he's the guy,
Abdallah
he's
wrestling heavy.
no, Abdallah's
Striker.
a striker. But then you have the other end of it where you go, yeah, but Abdallah's coming up to lightweight to meet Harry, and Harry's a very good sized lightweight. Abdallah's going to be undersized at lightweight. It's a fascinating matchup. I'm going to be cheering for Harry.
You're going to be cornering at the event.
Yeah, I won't. I'll be cornering Alistair Volders.
You're going to be having a beer after.
Nah. I have. I'm hoping to get a fight booked soon, so sort of trying to stick away.
Can you talk about any names you want?
No, well, I wanted to fight Nate Landhewer, but then I've heard that he's signed to fight Pat Sabatini. So I might look at the date that's on.
Which is such a fumble of the bag, because you versus the train would have been... Someone was going to die.
Yeah, and it's like, I just feel
wild.
like no matter which way you look at it, like, that's such an easy fight to sell. It's like you have the whole this side of the world cheering me, and they know Nate, and they know how he's going to come out. And the way we could banter in the lead up would have been good. And then it's instead you give him to, like, a wrestler who's probably going to, like, go chest to chest. So I just don't understand that as a call. But yeah, we'll find out. I'm gonna try and get ready. So I don't know what date they're fighting, but I'm gonna try and sort of be ready. So in case someone gets injured, I can.
So
jump
you
in.
really want that? That's the fight you want. What would
Not
he? Is he? Would he be? Would he be 40s?
I just like the fight I want is like the one that gets me furthest in my career. That's most manageable. Like, it's easy for me to go like, oh, let me fight Max Holloway. It's like, well, yeah, you need 4 wins, 5 wins impressively to even be in that category, right? So it's like, don't say fights that are bullshit. And then there's like,
I reckon you'd easily fight in the, like, from rank 21 to 40. I reckon that would be like, there's some good fights in there.
yeah, there's heaps of good fights. Like, I'd like to fight someone in that 15 to 25. 15 to 20. I think I'm like 28th or 29th, aren't I? Somewhere around there.
In the featherweight division.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, because it's hard to find the actual. It's hard to find.
It's all bullshit. It's all hypothetical.
It's
like,
really hard to find legitimate rankings.
I could make a website called worldmmarankings.com and put myself at like 16. No one would question.
I reckon at the moment you'd be if I had MMA featherweight rankings, you'd be top 20.
Oh yeah, I believe
Easily.
so too. Yeah, I believe so too. But, you know, at the end of the day,
Like
you got to go
said,
out
though,
there and prove that.
You need a good showcase fight where they just give you someone that's going to fucking not let you tee off on them, but someone that's going to give you a chess match that you can show that you're better than them.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's the key for me. And
But then you get all the people, oh, it's MMA, you got to be good at... No, well,
see, I've got 4 or 5 submission wins on my record as well. So it's like,
brown belt? Black
Yeah, brown belt. Yeah, I'm not one-dimensional by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the most entertaining way to fight is to...
Who one trick pony?
Yeah. The most entertaining way to fight is to stand and beat people up on the feet. So that's what I try and do.
Well, it's heaps funner watching people break someone's leg than armbar them.
For sure.
And you did like 3 or 4 of them consecutively.
Yeah, I broke a few legs. But I
do you still leg kick people? Like if I asked you, would you do it?
Nah, I think if I say yes to one leg kick, then
yeah,
I'm
but this
like,
is for content. What if you head kick me?
No, I just won't do it. I won't do it. It's like, I reckon it's the same as asking, seeing Roger Federer and being like, Roger, come on, let's just have a quick hit. Like, just one couple games. We'll play one set, Roger. Like, no, I'm not fucking playing.
It's just interesting that what makes your shin harder than other shins?
Nothing. It's not. It's just the way I kick. Like, my timing is more important than how hard I kick.
Dude, in that, the fuck... If no one's seen it, go to Jenkins versus... Oh my God, we were talking about it before. It just sipped off my mind.
At UFC or before UFC?
No, Eternal.
Oh, Costa.
Go watch Costa versus Jenkins. The timing of... When that poor cunt even went to throw a jab, you would light him up with like a leg kick left fucking to the body and then a right to the jaw. Like, your timing that night was... Your timing in general is insane, especially with the leg kick.
Yeah.
Because you catch people when they're at the most awkward position, so it is fucking really damaging.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, people think I'm a very hard kicker, which, don't get me wrong, I kick fucking hard.
Yeah, but it's
every
the
time,
timing, dude.
every time I kick, you see me kick. Like, I'm never kicking at 100%. Like, the hardest I'll kick is like 70% because it's just... The placement is the important part. It's the same as like Connor talks about this a lot, like how power is an illusion. Like, the harder you try, the more you lose on your power a lot of the time.
Connor was fucking just timing was on point.
And that's the same with my leg kicks. It's like, it's not that I'm just ripping them hard. It's that I'm hitting it as you step on it. I'm hitting it when it's like you're not fully tensed, but you're not fully relaxed either. It's like you're just stepping on it. So it's not going to fall out from underneath you. So I can crack it and get force through it, but you're not fully weight bearing so that all the muscles are taut and bound around it. It's like, I want your foot to be touching the ground, but not fully tense, so I can just whip at it.
It's a fucking... Dude, I'd love to see you fight a kangaroo. Do you reckon you'd fuck one up?
I don't know. I always think about like which animals I'd actually be able to beat.
I reckon you'd be able to fuck up a kangaroo.
I reckon I could choke a kangaroo out. Have you seen the video of the one kangaroo choking
the other one out?
Yeah, so I see one kangaroo choke another kangaroo and I go, with those little fucking arms, if he can choke him out. But the part, like, if it depends if they have claws. Like,
no, they got claws.
No, but if I'm fighting them with claws, like, it'd be hard.
Well, you want to, like, they don't go to salon and file them down and shit.
Like,
Like,
if they weren't super, or if I had like motorcycle riding gear on, where like the claws wouldn't come through it, then I'd be sweet.
I reckon you'd be able to leg chop the fuck out of one.
Nah, because they just get back up on their tail, so you're not actually kicking
their
leg.
That dude punched one in the face. That video that went viral years ago,
and the kangaroo just ate it.
Yeah, he just ate it.
Fuck, you want to go again?
Yeah, I reckon you'd fuck up a kangaroo. Emu, I reckon you'd fuck up pretty easy. Do you reckon you'd be able to get like a Rottweiler?
Well, see, that's hard because it's like one mistake, you're fucked. Like, if they get onto your arm or your leg...
See, I've got a Roddy and he's gone me when he was a puppy. Like, when he was just learning, he went me. And he would have been only, like, 14 kilo. And it was fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I've seen some...
Dogs are different. They're like little wolves.
Yeah, I've seen some of the work the dog squad do. Fucking devastating when they bite people. It's fucked.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, I reckon you'd be able to fuck up a kangaroo.
Yeah. I'll fucking set it up.
We'll set it up. That might be his next fight.
You get done by the RSPCA. Fucking.
What are you aiming for? Like are you aiming for a main event or a fight or anything?
Mate, like I don't like fighting at the Apex particularly, but I'll take what I can get.
You don't like it?
Nah, I hate no crowd.
Really?
Like, no crowd.
Doesn't work for you.
I'm an energy guy. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm a fighter, but I'm also an entertainer. It's like,
Yeah.
I feed off that energy, positive or negative. Like, I've walked into foreign territory and been like the bad guy, and I like that just as much as walking out in Melbourne and being the hero. So I like crowd energy. So I didn't love when I fought at the Apex. I'd much rather fight like anywhere else.
They won't have any cards in Melbourne for years because they got to deal with Sydney, don't they?
Well, no, they're talking about Perth in August.
I thought they had like a 6
Yeah,
fight
so
deal with...
No, they've got 3 fights in 3 years, but they did 2 last year here, so it stands to reason that they'll do 2 here again.
Yeah, right. So they're going to do one in Perth.
Yeah, Perth, hopefully. I don't know. The US, I don't know.
Why don't they do one at the G?
Oh, mate, it's fucked. So they'll never do the G because they can't get a roof on it. And it's too big. Even Marvel sucks. Just do Rod Laver. Like, just do do a
Blink
solid
182's
show.
playing there tonight.
Are they?
Blink 182. I just found out. I was on the plane and there was all these emos on there. And I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
what's going on? It's
Blink
Blink 182.
I like Blink.
Yeah, they're playing at Rod Laver. So Rod Laver has a roof, obviously.
Yeah, and it's a great
That
arena.
would be a sick venue. 'Cause
It's stacked. Like you're on top of it. I'd love to fight at Rod Laver. That's my dream. Like I've
The UFC have been to Melbourne before.
yeah. So the last two were at Marvel, but Marvel it's a footy ground. It's too distant. Like you lose any atmosphere, and they have all these chairs on the ground, so it feels like very spacious. And the last thing you want is to feel like you're in an open paddock for a fight. Like you want to be on, like RAC in Perth. You want to be on top of it,
Like a basketball stadium.
yeah, like a coliseum.
A basketball stadium, or it's like exactly like I said, a coliseum. But fucking, it's just live MMA shows. They're sick to go to because of the atmosphere. But if you want to watch the fights, it's way better at home.
Yeah.
Like fights, if you go to it, you're there with the boys and you're having fun and you probably get better seats than most people though now because you're like in the thing. But I could never fucking afford good seats at the UFC.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Oh,
eh?
dude, getting tickets to Perth was like fucking. Do you know who's cocky after suck to get a ticket to Perth? That was wild.
Probably Craig's.
Oh, dude, it was fucking insane. I had to book a package with a hotel just to get tickets and not use the hotel.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah, that's fucked.
The people were buying them and reselling them for like shit seats for like $2,000.
Yeah, that's cooked, eh?
But everyone bought them because it's like this is the best card Australia will ever see.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. It was fucking
Oh, dude, it was you, fucking Volk, Islam, Yair, Emmett,
Della.
Della, fucking.
Malaki.
Oh, dude, that will always be the best card.
Coolabao.
Coolabao fight on that fucking card?
Yeah, Coolabao beat that guy. They got in each other's face at the weigh-ins.
No
And
shit.
this is a funny story. So you know Jamie Malaki and Coolabao are like homies since they were like kids, right?
Really?
Yeah. So Malaki and Coolabao are like good friends. And before, this is stuff that like some of your listeners might not know, but after we all weigh in, they have this thing where they go, no managers, no coaches, no one but fighters in this room. Right,
Really?
so they take everything away from you, and everyone goes and sits in this room after you weigh in, and either Dana, Mick Maynard, sometimes Sean Shelby, whoever it is, comes in and basically gives you like a bit of a rev up. They're like, all right, boys, if you're on the undercard, no swearing. If you swear, so like this time, like Mick Maynard in Perth, Mick Maynard was like, if you're on the undercard, no swearing, and like Malaki's hand went up, and he goes, will there be fines if we swear? It's like preempting it. But before, when we went out there, there was like this 5 minutes, and at the weigh-ins, the guy had grabbed Coolabao's throat and pushed him back. So he was sitting there, and Malaki and Coolabao were sitting behind him, and they were just like talking really loud about this guy being a bitch, like while he was just sitting there. And it was like, Malaki's just like, yeah, that was just like, you would only do that if you were just scared. Like, you would only be scared. And then Coolabao was like, yeah, he's fucking scared. And I'm sitting like there pissing myself laughing because this guy like fucking tried to throat him at the weigh-in. Like, it was dumb as fuck. And then when Coolabao came out and dropped him, choked him, and then did like the pistol fingers, we were at the back. I was like, fuck, that was sick.
Oh, I got beef with Coolabao.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he thinks he'd be able to scull a beer faster than me.
Really? He sculls pretty quick.
Yeah, oh, fuck.
I'm not gonna ask you to go, but
I'm fucking built different, dude. I'm just like he can fight. Like you got certain talents in life.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd be able to. How many of me do you reckon you'd be able to beat the fuck out of?
I don't know.
At one given time.
You grapple?
No, so I'm not much of a grappler, so he'd fuck me up. There's nothing I'd be able to do.
But can you strike?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, probably maybe 2 max.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a fat cunt.
People underestimate, like, so in TV shows, people's ability is exponential, right? So like, if you're an average man and I'm an above average man at fighting, in TV shows it's like, well, I'm worth 5 of you, like,
I reckon you'd beat the fuck out of
nah,
at least
it's just
6
not.
me, dude.
It's fight like hand to hand combat for humans. Just the growth isn't exponential. You're like the best fighter on the planet. Like, let's say it's John Jones. John Jones against similar sized men who are aggressive as fuck, like in a cage. Like he's fucked. he might be able to get away with it, but he'd be very unlikely to win.
How many 9-year-olds do you reckon you beat the fuck out?
Well, see, 9-year-olds are different because you can KO them quick.
Yeah, is that you like if and you wouldn't you how do you reckon if you threw a leg kick at a 9-year-old 30%, you'd fucking drop him?
Yeah, like
20?
they'd fall under. I think I would. I
And you
wouldn't.
got
Leg
cardio.
kicks wouldn't be my tactic with 9-year-olds. It
Really?
would just
Tape?
be teeps to the face. Fucking 1, 2,
Just tape
3.
them.
Yeah, like I'm visualizing.
They're coming at you in rounds
so
of
it's
5.
not. So it's not like weird. I'm just gonna visualize like 9-year-old me. So like I'm fucking myself up as a 9-year-old. I would just teep myself in the face repeatedly.
But
Just
they're
boom,
coming at you
boom,
5 at a
boom.
time.
Yeah, fucking boom, teep. It's also like 9-year-olds are like scared.
They're pussies, dude.
Yeah. I reckon you drop one, the rest just.
They don't even
fail.
know if they're boys or girls anymore.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's fucking. Don't get me started.
I'm in Melbourne. I've been in Melbourne for fucking 2 hours, dude. I'm feeling frisky.
Yeah, it's fucking.
But so I reckon you would do at least. I'll rephrase that. I reckon you would beat the shit out of at least 84 kids.
80. Yeah, I reckon the numbers. The numbers between 50 and 100.
It's honestly whenever you think you'd get tired.
Yeah. 9-year-old me. I beat myself up as a 9-year-old. Yeah, I reckon I might hit triple digits. Might get
Triples.
to 100. Yeah, of myself, but depends too.
Were you a violent kid?
No, I was actually a pretty soft kid. Like
You had older siblings?
2 older siblings. I was soft in the sense of like I wasn't a rough kid in the terms like I didn't grow up around like the streets or like bad anything negative as a kid. I had a really nice childhood. I was real physical. Like
Just
I
hard
would
yakka.
just loved wrestling. Like I would wrestle anyone anytime I could. You ever play British Bulldog?
Fucking love British Bulldog.
Like I was always the kid that was like rounding up the group of kids like, let's play British Bulldog, and just trying to hammer people or just trying to get through tackles, bust through people. Me and my brothers wrestled and fought all the time. Like literally, if we went 2 days without wrestling or fighting, it was a long time.
One of your brothers was a kickboxer?
Yeah. Benny
Yeah.
was
Ben.
very
Yeah.
very good kickboxer. And then Timmy was probably the scariest out of all of us because he just had that switch.
The middle child.
Yeah, he just when it was time to go, it was time to go.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
I joined when did you join it?
November. I turned 30.
I'm November
Are you?
18th.
Are you?
Yeah.
My same birthday as my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, November 18th.
You ate November as well.
I'm November 3rd.
So you just turned 30?
Just turned 30.
Do you wake up now and shit hurts sometimes?
No, not
You're
really.
pretty fit, though.
I'm in pretty good nick.
You're-
I'm like I would say like I'm like body wise, I'm still pretty young body wise. Like
Do you get like? Were you ever a loose unit? Do you get loose? Do you have
Yeah.
because you seem
Oh,
like
mate.
at the moment you're out of camp and you're pretty like in shape and shit. You
Yeah,
don't blow out.
I never get like super fat, just because I'm always training. But I'm like, I fuck up when I'm on the piss. Like I go hard.
This
Like
Saturday.
I'm not a
This Saturday, guys.
I'm not
you'll
a-
see on the Sesh with Sav Instagram.
Is that what your Instagram is?
The Sesh with
Sav?
Sav. Yeah, you'll fucking be
Oh,
messaging you on a cunt.
but
Do you even
but
read
no,
your messages?
No, I read it, but I thought that was like, I didn't know that it was in reference to like getting on the sesh.
Yeah,
like,
it's 'cause
I thought it was like podcast session or something.
No. It's like I like fucking
Oh.
getting obscenely fuck. I've just had 7 beers since we fucking started talking.
That makes this way fucking better now,
Dude.
Like the premise of the podcast
Can
is
you-
we get fucked up.
The microwave's about to fucking go off.
Yes, the drug references are in now too. Let's go.
Vegas, baby.
You'll love it there.
Are you going to be around at ADCC?
When is it?
August 14th to 20th.
No, because I hope they have a fight here.
I'm going to fight Craig.
You're gonna fight Craig.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to overhand ride him.
He deserves it.
I'm going to get loaded up and I'm going to walk straight up to him. At first, I want to wear a shirt with Gordon Ryan's missus on it as just pictures of her because I really want to get an assault charge from Gordon while I'm over there.
You're fucked up.
Because I fucking hate Gordon for some reason.
Really?
I fucking hate him. He's just such a princess. You can't be that good at a sport and be that much of a sook.
Yeah. I don't know him. I
don't fucking know him either.
You only see what you see on Instagram, and I reckon it's a bit of bullshit. I reckon like he hypes himself up. He's happy to be the bad guy.
Oh, he makes good money off of being the
villain.
He
might be alright.
No way. You just don't want to talk shit.
No, I don't care. There's people I've met that I don't like, but
he's talking to me.
Nah, but I just never met Gordon Ryan, so I couldn't speak
You never
to
met
him.
What was the first person you met when you got into the UFC that you were like, oh fuck, you were really starstruck almost?
Well, so when you do Contender Series, they make you know you are not in the UFC. You are a maggot. You might as well be. You might as well be a random off the street for how much we care about you. That's what they make you feel like in Contender Series. You're not part of the UFC, so you don't get to use the PI, the performance, even though it's right there in Vegas, and you're like next door doing shit, and you can't go in there. You have to be a contracted UFC fighter. And when even the clothes they give you, you don't get any of the good like Venom or Reebok shit or anything.
Grains.
You just get it's like Kmart shit with like Dana White. Not Kmart shit's bad, but it's like very basic stuff with just the printing on it. But the day I won the contract and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go use the PI. I'm a contracted fighter now. And I walked in and they were like, actually genuinely treat you fucking unbelievably well. Like Forrest Griffin gave me
I was going to say, did you meet Forrest?
Yeah, Forrest gave me a tour up because I have this great photo of me and Forrest when I was about 14. He came and did a seminar in Melbourne and I was there and it's like me and Forrest and I was like young kid, fresh faced. And I sent it to Forrest. So he came and did the tour with us and it's like, all right, you check in here. If you need to book physio or anything, this is the person who looks after you. You can book all of your stuff straight through here. Here's the ice bath, sauna, underwater treadmill. Here's the full gym. Here's this. You get meal tickets when you're a fighter, so you eat here for free. Here's a smoothie bar.
Why doesn't every fucking upcoming fighter move to Vegas to live through the PI?
Yeah, well, fuck that. A lot of people do now. And I think I'm going to go over for a couple of months, maybe middle of this year.
You'd be fucking stupid not to, dude. Just to get your body right, the facilities they have, it would cost you like 5-6 digits to live that lifestyle here.
Oh, no doubt. You're 100% right. But then I was like, yeah, fuck. So I went in, I got my smoothie, got my food, did my workout, and then we were in the change rooms having a shower. And me and my brother and my homie Jacob walked in, and it's fucking... We walk into the change rooms, and it's fucking Francis Ngannou, Sean Strickland... and Rafael Asuncao sitting in the change room. And I walk in and I'm like, hey, what's up, boys? And Sean is like the most authentic cunt ever.
Don't get me started on Sean Strickland, bro. I love him.
Sean is like the exact same. Like the guy on TV in the press conference and stuff, that's him. First thing he says to me, he's like, oh, you fought last night? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how'd you go? I'm like, oh, yeah, I won, but... I wasn't super happy with it, like being like a bit negative. And he just 100% put it in right. He's like, did you win? I was like, yeah. He's like, did you get a contract? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, shut the fuck up. He's like, what are you complaining about, brother? And I'm like, and it just that I just thought he's fucking absolutely right. Like, what am I? Because I was a bit down that I didn't like showcase more striking or whatever. And then
Dude,
I'm like,
you won the fight.
I'm like, what the fuck am I talking? I just won a contract. Like, it's my lifelong dream and I've achieved it through that fight. Do not look on that fight in a negative light. And he just said that. And then I remember my brother hearing Ben talk to Francis out of the corner of my eye. And Ben's like, man, you are so much bigger in real life than you look on TV. And Francis was like smiling. He was like, oh, really? He's like, most people say I look smaller in real life than on TV. And like, I'm looking at Francis and this motherfucker is so big.
His story as well,
he's
dude.
He's so big. His head's fucking massive. His arms, his fists. And he's just one of the nicest guys ever. And then even Rafael Asuncao. And we just sat there talking shit to him for a little bit. And that's when... And then I went out the front and like Michael Chiesa and Dan Ige were there.
Oh my God. It's just like fucking... Just one after the other.
Yeah, and Michael Chiesa and Dan Ige. And this is where sometimes you have to pinch yourself. Because I've always believed I was going to be a UFC fighter. But... You know, there's a lot of water goes under the bridge before you get there. And Michael Chiesa's talking to me, and he said, "You were my best pick of the night. Like, you did really well."
The commentators actually fucking really did you justice that night. Like the commentators.
Laura Sanko was...
Wasn't that her debut?
Yeah, she's brilliant. Laura Sanko... Well, I don't think it was her debut for Contender Series.
Are you sure?
It might have been.
No, you're right. You're right. She was doing Contender Series, but she made her debut shortly after for the UFC.
She is like...
Amazing.
The thing is like sometimes, you know, you get token females get put into roles that they're probably not in sports, like commentators who maybe don't who don't understand a sport or whatever.
Laura's phenomenal.
It couldn't be more opposite with Laura. She's out of all the commentators, apart from maybe Dom Cruz, she's the most well researched. She does the most background stuff on everyone. She understands the game really well, and she really tries to.
She tries hard.
She tries to get across to the average punter the more technical side of what we're doing.
That's from the early prelims to the main event. Like, she does everyone justice.
Yeah.
And when she did her debut for the actual, I think she made a main event debut or a fight night debut. I think it was a main event debut. I can't remember who it was. But I even made I never tweet anything. I made an Instagram post. I was like, fuck, Laura's doing so good. Because Dominic Cruz, for me, commentary-wise, he's good. But I feel like him and certain commentators rub up against each other a lot, and it's annoying to listen to sometimes.
Yeah. I really like Dom, but I understand listening, he can be hard to listen to.
But for you, it'd be amazing.
Well, so like when I spoke to Dom, when they do the pre-fight interviews, right? When I spoke to Dom for the Perth fight, he was like listening to me talk about leg kicks. He was like he was studying. He was listening.
He's a fucking genius.
And then he gave me like so much respect about he'd watched my fights. He spoke about what I was going to do.
For you?
Yeah, 100%. Like Dom
fucking...
Cruz, I used to sneak into the Max to watch Dom Cruz fight Uriah Faber. You know what I mean? Like when I was a teenager. And he's great, but I get for the average punter how he can be a little bit like fucking...
It's not even that. It's more just... The band, he doesn't have the element of any form of banter. Like when he's with Felder or Bisping, it kind of sounds like they not clash, but like they don't gel as well because Cruz got that tism, like that. He's got.
Well, he's so analytical.
Yeah, dude. He's a genius.
Sometimes the more like flowing of the commentary gets lost on.
Have you had Joe commentate any of your fights?
No, not yet.
Is that the big one?
I'll be excited for that. I'd be excited, but once you get in, you're trying to block that shit out. You're trying to just think, because it's, again, the cage door shuts and it's the same as fighting down the road in fucking Festival Hall. Festival Hall's right there too. You guys are nice and close.
Yeah, I hope so, because I'm going to be fucking pissed by the time we get there. We're not going to be doing any analytics tonight.
Tomorrow night?
No,
weigh-ins tomorrow.
Saturday. No, Saturday night. Yeah, it's weigh-ins tomorrow, isn't it? So they weigh in the day before.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you weigh in 24 or 48?
24.
24.
Melbourne's fucking
Wouldn't
shit.
be much of a cut for you though, eh?
It's a decent cut. I cut about the same as Volk and most guys in my division.
What's 145 in kilo?
66.
You get down to 66 kilo. That is fucking wild. I'm the fattest cunt in the world.
Yeah, it's fucked though.
You get down to 66.
Yeah, I'm about 75, 76 now though.
I was going to say you look like 76, 77.
Yeah. You got a good eye for it.
I do. I like looking at dudes, dude.
Yeah.
Nah, I spent a lot of times at gyms and I fucking, like, you just catch wind of people's weights.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it too. And as a general rule, like most fighters, if you ask them what their weight is, just add two or three, and that's about right.
Depends what season you catch them on. If you're catching them off season and they say they're like 80 kilo, they're actually like more like 76. If you catch them during a weight cut and they say they're 80 kilo, they're probably like 83.
Yeah, 100%. Some of the boys who are fighting this weekend, I said to him yesterday, I said, "What was your weight at the start of the week?" And he's like, I don't know. And we all just like pissed ourselves laughing. I was like, "Cunt, you do know." Like, what was your weight? And he's like,
yourself every day.
I was like, mate, that's the most important number that you have in your whole life right now. What was my weight before I started fucking with my diet and my water loading? He's like, I think it was about 72, 70. Like, you know this number, just fucking tell me, cunt. And he ended up spitting out that he was like, and he was right on weight. Like, he had no issue. But fighters are just a bit funny about it.
What is the time, actually? Because we got to go at 4:30. 520. 3 fucking Jesus Christ! What the hell? No, we're all good. Oh my God, you are the worst young Jamie ever.
To be fair, I delivered you about 4 beers.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sorry, boys.
No, you're all good. You do your thing. So you're officially used to being in the UFC now. Like you can,
Yeah, like I've always believed, like,
Marab liked one of my videos the other day, and I fucking had a heart attack.
really.
Dude, the only reason I started my podcast was I wanted to do a podcast for like the last 10 years. And John Anik, I messaged John Anik and he messaged me back on Twitter.
He's a legend.
John Anik's like if I could meet Conor McGregor and I would not react as badly as I would if I met John.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love John.
John's a great guy. Great
Yeah,
guy. Can't speak highly enough of John. But, yeah,
Do you feel like you fit?
in the UFC.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I've always, like, I know how hard I work. I know how much it, like, sacrificed to get here. But more than anything, it's like, I just think I'm really good. Like, and I've always thought that. I always thought I've had, like, the ability to beat these really, really good guys.
You're fucking red hot, dude. That's such a good nickname. I can't believe no one's fucking taken that yet.
What?
Red hot.
Red Hot.
Red hot.
Red Hot to be a good name for a horse.
Red hot is a good name for a horse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, do you have a past or present featherweight that is a dream matchup for you?
Jose Aldo.
I was gonna fucking say before,
Yeah, well,
like,
Jose's
when you mentioned Uriah Faber and Cruz, I was like, fuck, you would have been frothing when.
Yeah, so I was
Jose-
like, I used to, like, when Jose Aldo got beaten by Conor, it was like one of the toughest days of my life, I reckon.
Oh,
Because
dude,
I
that was
just
the best day of
loved
my
Jose.
life.
I used to go and cheer for him. I fucking bought a pair of shorts. Like, I saved up when I was about 15. He was sponsored by, this was before the Reebok deal and shit. He was sponsored by this brand called Praetorian.
Yeah.
And I fucking saved up to get a pair of shorts, like, shipped over from fucking Brazil. And it cost me, like, in today's dollars, it might have been like $120 with shipping. And I got them here and they were fucking too big. And I couldn't afford to get another pair. And it was like the most devastating thing. But I bought these shorts just because I'd seen Jose Aldo wear them. And yeah, but I love Jose. But I think that, like, stylistically, to fight him would
That's
be
a shit fight for you.
dream.
That's
For me-
fucking for both of you.
Nah, it's a
Like,
great fight.
that's a shit fight for both of you.
It's a great fight. Both stand in the pocket, both move our head, both whip the leg.
Do you know what
kicks.
though? I feel like after the McGregor loss, it was so satisfying watching Jose fucking just crawl his way back to the top
It
of
was
the heap. Bro.
unbelievable. Well, because he lost to Conor.
That's even better than being a dominant champ forever. Like he lost
lost
everything.
to Conor, and then he lost to Holloway twice.
And then he just fucking.
And then he
edged
went
his way
bang,
back
bang,
up.
bang, bang, and then he went down to bantamweight, and then he went bang, 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 and won some fights there, and it was like,
You and
fuck.
Barboza would have been a fucking scrap. As
Yeah,
well,
I
but
would
he
like
was
that fight.
Did he? He fought at featherweight, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he still fights at featherweight. Yeah, he's still there.
No, he went up to lightweight, didn't he?
I thought he was a lightweight who came down, and he's.
Oh
still
yes,
down.
he was.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Does he still fight?
I don't know.
We were just saying when we were walking up this year, I reckon it's going to be the year all of like our generation of favourite fighters kind of retire. Because the Fedors and shit, they're like, you got to respect them, but they're not, to me, they're not my generation of fighters.
Nah, they're before.
They're before.
Yeah.
But like all your Chandlers and your Gaethjes and your Holloways, I don't feel like they got much left. Oliveira.
Yeah, so it
Islam.
depends. It's how many miles you got on the clock as well as your age. Because a
I
lot of
reckon
those
that
guys.
I reckon that Gaethje is gonna end Holloway after that.
Well, see, I think somehow, I don't care if it's via injury or whatever, pull Holloway out of that fight.
Oh,
like,
dude.
pull him out of that fight and go Holloway versus Tapuria. It made complete sense with Volk as the
Holloway
champ.
would fucking.
Like,
that'd be a good fight.
It made 100% sense when Volk was the champ. Max had beaten everyone else. Volk had beaten everyone else. What's the point of staying at this weight class? So yeah, this is a great, exciting fight, money fight, whatever. But now that fight makes no sense
That's
anymore.
fucking true.
You've got Holloway and Tapuria. That is the fight. That is the only fight. I think it's a massive waste. Pull Holloway out. Put fucking Diaz Poirier or fucking
I don't
Chandler
I reckon Chandler because
into that fight and then fucking let Tapuria fight Holloway in Spain to give Volk enough time to
He needs a
get
year.
himself right.
He needs a year.
Yeah, maybe not a year, maybe 9 months. I reckon he could be ready in 9 months.
Dude, fucking, I do not care who you are. After 2 KOs like that, there is no shot that you don't have some form of hesitance and PTSD from that. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes you fight different. Like, you could even tell when Volk was fighting, like he was biting on feints he would never bite on. But that's me just seeing it and just.
I haven't watched the fight in total. So I've only seen the knockout.
If you watch it, he was just biting on things that he wouldn't have bitten on, like he was expecting to get hit, which is just something that wouldn't have happened a year and a half ago, and it's probably attributes to him getting viciously knocked out by Islam. So it's 9 months to a year minimum, I'd say, because he's so active.
Yeah, he can afford to take some time off.
He's 35. It is get up there, but he's got 4 in him.
Yeah.
But we will end it here because we got shit to do. You probably got training to do.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
I fucking apprappreciate you coming on so much.
Anytime, bro.
You're
Thank you for having me.
He's gonna give me a tip after, and I'm gonna slap a hungy.
Yeah. All right. Done.
All right, bro. Cheers.
See you, boys.
9. Cheers for coming.